Hey everybody, how's it going? On today's video, we are going to be talking about a completed series. This completed lit RPG series is called Mother of Learning. This is 4 books long and altogether is about 80 to 100 hours of narration. And this is just an amazing book. This is written by Nobody103, writing as Domagor Gavich, and this is performed by Jack Veraces. This audiobook is just a bang-up job. I was a little hesitant when I was searching for a new book, and I stumbled upon Mother of Learning, and it was recommended to me by Audible. So after listening to a little bit of the sample and reading through the description and checking out some of the reviews, I went ahead and jumped in, and oh boy, am I glad I did. This is one that I just want to go ahead and share and let people know about this, and hopefully they can find a new series that they can enjoy. Even though if it's a completed series, it's 4 books long, and it's just a great journey from the first to the last. And it ends up nicely, and you're just wanting more or a new series to see where the main character or maybe main character's children get involved, and where they can, continue on. But let's go ahead and get into the summary of this audiobook series. Well, first, I did say it was 80 to 100 hours all complete. It's about 22 hours to 25 hours per audiobook of all the 4, and it's just a great chunk of time to be listening. So let's get into the summary. Zorian is a student that goes to a magical school. He's getting off his summer break, and he's getting up and he's leaving his home to go spend his school year at this magical academy. And he's getting ready. He's going through the daily, I guess, the wake up of everything, the daily routine before he's getting ready to get on the train to go to his school, dealing with his little sister, his mother, and just, trying to get to the magical academy as soon as possible because he doesn't really get along with his family. And so throughout, as the story goes on, he gets on his train, he gets to school, meets up with some of his friends that he has made. He's not a very sociable person. He only has about a few friends and many acquaintances, likes to kind of be on his own. But towards the month into his school year, a month into schooling, his school gets attacked at like a big prom type event, and it's crazy. He's like, oh my gosh, this is just bonkers nuts. Until a point where he runs into one of his classmates and a infamous lich, and he's just kind of freaking out. And through some events, he gets hit with a certain spell, and it's just like warping everything until he thinks he's about to die, passes out, and then he wakes up in his bed a month ago, and right before he's starting his magical school academy. And he goes through his day just like he did a month ago. And he starts his, journey and adventure all over again. And so this is where we find our character is you see that he is stuck in a time loop. And it is interesting to start figuring out where in the time loop, how long does the time loop last? Who else knows maybe that are stuck in the time loop? It's a very interesting series, and it's just amazing. And I will leave a link in the description of this video to the first book. And so you can get a better, read some other reviews, look at the author's description of the video, and get the Audible sample of it, where you get to listen to just a little bit of it and maybe just get a little bit more handle on if this is something for you. But yeah, I really like this book, and I really want to get into it. And with all of these videos I make about, lit RPG books or anything I ever review, I hope it saves you if this isn't for you, that it saves you time and money. And if this is for you, that you are able to spend your money in a place where you're able to really enjoy another book, another series, especially one that's completed, and that you know when you have the first one and you know when it's going to end, which, I guess some people don't really like that, but I don't know. I sometimes I like it, but yeah, hope this is something that is for you, and I get you to a new book that you like. And if it isn't, then I've saved you some time. That's the two main things I want to get across with these kind of videos. So let's go into the pros that I have really enjoyed about this particular series. One, the series is done. I don't know why, but I just really find that as a plus. From one book to the last, I think around like third book when it was released, you knew that this was like there was only like one more, or I guess when the fourth one was announced, you knew that was the last one. You're like, oh, how is it going to end? Is it going to just be crap, or is it going to be amazing? And it was amazing. So yeah, just I don't know. I like the complete series. Next is love for the MC. Zorian is somebody that is hard to like, I guess, at the beginning of the book. He's not really someone that's like, okay, he's not really that interesting. He's kind of like a character that you would, be introduced to in someone else's story and then shortly forgotten or come up, every once in a while. But as his character develops and grows, it is just becomes more of an interesting character, and to see how he deals with situations, and he's stuck in this time loop. So when he gets, reverted back to the month that he or when he gets sent to the start, how he deals with things, and how sometimes he starts playing with the time loop where he's like, okay, well, what if I did things this way? What if I did things that way? And he tries, does a process of, does he just skip school until the time loop ends and he starts at the beginning? And it's just interesting how he approaches situations in this series. And I just have he's just definitely my favorite character. Even, without him being the MC, he's just definitely one of my favorite characters in this series. So yeah. The story moves along great, and each chunk is an interesting chapter. For once you finished one book, you're like, okay, gotta go on to the next book, because it's just I don't know, it just moves along fairly well, and the development of the story just is at a nice pacing. Problem solving, something that I really enjoyed is sometimes Zorian is not the most strength oriented character. He's pretty weak at the beginning of this series until he gets like his way of power and his way of tackling situations. There is another character that is kind of like, no, I'm strong, I am BA, and I'm just gonna just plow into this problem and bash my head against it until it goes away. And Zorian's very much like, no, let's actually figure out how something can work and maybe break it without putting too much effort. Let's think smarter, not harder. So it's definitely, I definitely love to see how problems are solved within this series. Next is really a nice summary of this situation and how you can start seeing like the big picture, and then how it's going to start like coming down to where, how they're gonna get out of this, how the character's gonna get out of this time loop, how he's interacting, and what he does if he does get out of this time loop. I'm not trying to spoil too much of anything, but just to see how he approaches that. I'm trying to cover a lot within one video, but since this is all done and the whole series is packed up, I just want to pack this up as much as possible. But I really love how they kind of end the series, and it just seemed natural, and nothing really felt like it was a cliffhanger or anything like that. And last but not least, I really love the narration. Now, I will talk when I talk about my cons. I will actually mention narration a little bit, but for me, when I first started listening to this, I didn't really like the narrator, and I don't know, it just seemed off to me at first. But as I got into into the book, the narrator was like the person for this story. I couldn't imagine anyone else doing it, and I feel like the voice really matched up with the characters, especially Zorian, and I just really liked uh, Jake's narration of this story, and they really did a bang up job making him the narrator. And let's now move to the cons. And the first one, let's talk about the narration. It was a little odd at first, and some people might find it kind of like, I don't know, off. I don't want to say off-putting, but just something that didn't really match, and I guess could be thought of as annoying. But again, that's what I thought at first. But then as I really let it sink in, it was just, I really enjoyed it and I found it to be pretty amazing, and wouldn't trade out any other narrator for this. And I think this particular narrator just did a great job. But I could see that being kind of a con for some people. But again, I don't know, that's really like splitting hairs there. And last but not least is really, I liked the story. I really enjoyed it. So if anything I have already said is not appealing, then that's probably something that's just not an audiobook series for you. Now, if you have enjoyed what I have been saying, and you've looked into the link in the description and read the author summary, listened a little bit to the sampling of the book one, then I think you'll really like this if you've, been liking what I've been saying so far. So yeah, I'm pretty biased. I really just kind of try to do books that I really enjoy. If something, if a book that I really didn't like, I don't really put it up on my channel. Think of me as you want of that, but I just don't want to spend my time on something that is not great, something that's not worth saying. But I just really enjoyed this series, and I really hope through this video that you could possibly find something that you enjoy. I think this character and Zorian's journey, and figuring out the time loop, and figuring out maybe after the time loop, what he needs to do and how he approaches things, and just the character development of that particular character and others. But I just think he just, it's always entertaining to see, entertaining to see him develop. But yeah, this audiobook is something I would recommend, and I hope you check out. So without further ado, without taking more of your time, I'll let you go and check this out, and hopefully maybe you'll start listening to it. Leave a comment in this video about maybe audiobooks that you have really enjoyed, maybe some completed series that I have not talked about yet on this channel that you would like me to check out, or you just have some recommendations of your own lit RPG books that you want to share. Leave them in the comments. We'll check them out. But without further ado, I will let you go and talk to you guys later. All right? Toodles!